Hey, Hunter.
Yes, Handler?
I have this theory about the Admiral.
The Admiral?
Yes, I think he might be an Elder Dragon.
What?
I know, right?
Handler, come on, that is so last year.
What?
Everybody knows he's an Elder Dragon.
But
And he's the worst one, too. I mean, he doesn't even have a single attack.
Well, if he's the worst one, then who?
Yes, all right, here's a list. Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages, it's time for the be-all end-all when it comes to ranking the quality of our strongest foes. My super serious Elder Dragon tier list that is 100% legitimate in every way, shape, and form.
I don't believe you.
Starting off, of course, with the lowest tier of monsters in the lowest tier of E, which clearly stands for Ew. Crimson Fatalis. Red is an inferior color to black, and this clearly makes Crimson Fatalis worse than regular Fatalis or just any other Elder Dragon in general. Then we have Rusted Kushala Daora, who is literally a lower quality version of Kushala Daora. Like, if you had the choice between a new car and a rusty version of the same car, which would you choose? Case closed. Kieran, stupid electricity horse.
Stupid Flanders.
And that's okay, I guess. I'm told that Kieran are unicorns, but I've only met ones who seem to have been traumatized by a recent engagement with a monkey, and all of those ones just have looked like regular horses to me. I don't really know what the difference is. But, you know, that's it for tier E. But moving on to tier D, which of course stands for which is a legitimate word, we have Jen Moran, whose symbol makes him look sort of like a unicorn, which I still don't believe Kieran is, but he isn't. He's not a unicorn. He could have been a narwhal, which is like the whale unicorn, but for some reason he has a second horn. Also, his horns come out of his mouth. Someone must have missed the placement. It's the only explanation. Then we have Nergigante. All he wants to do is eat things, which I can appreciate, but he interrupts our Zora quest, and I hate being interrupted. Then we have Zora Magdaros, and I like mountains, but generally, I prefer it when they don't move. It's really hard to go for a good mountain hike when the peak of the mountain changes based on whether the mountain is sitting or standing. And then next we have Kushala Daora. Every time I try to have an important phone call, the person on the other end goes through a wind tunnel, and I'm 90% sure that that's Kushala's fault, so he gets to be in tier D. Then we have Kulve Taroth. Once upon a time, I may or may not have been married to her. There's no confirmation of this. And even though at one point in time I could have said, I love gold, I can now say that I resent gold. You wouldn't think that a monster with that much wealth would get an alimony check, but here I am. Next up we have tier C, which of course stands for Look, they all just stand for random sounds now. I'm sorry to disappoint you. And it starts with Runa Nergigante, who's basically just regular Nergigante, but it's like he got into a car accident and had to get some metal plates installed in his body, and it makes him sturdier, but he also just cuts me with them sometimes, and I don't really like bleeding. Then we have Teostra, and I love camping, and he's just a walking campfire, but I also don't like it when my campfire explodes and kills my entire camping party, so it sort of puts him down a little bit. Then we have Fatalis, and Fatalis is just essentially the middle Fatalis. Not too hot, not too cold, not too stiff, not too soft, just, well, not right, but middle, just middle. Also, his tongue is floppy, which in itself puts him above every monster on the list so far. Then we have Elatrion, and I really like lightning and ice as elements, but I'm not a big fan of fire and dragon. So, you know, on a basic pro and con system list, Elatrion is exactly neutral. Then we have Amatsu. This Elder Dragon is unbelievably beautiful and unbelievably powerful. However, it doesn't leave the top of a mountain, so I don't get to see how beautiful it is. And its power just makes thunderstorms everywhere, and thunderstorms are scary, so tier C. Then we have safi'jiiva, who is very translucent and very juicy looking for a baby.
Well, listen up, City Jim. I ate a baby!
But his lasers are cool, and so is his ribcage, so it helps prop him up a little bit. Then we have Hallowed Jen Moran, who is essentially just regular Jen Moran, but bigger, which is a good thing, and a way better color scheme. Nothing against brown, but purple is just an entirely different tier of color. Color tier list coming soon. Then we have tier B, the beginning of tier B, and tier B of course stands for because again, they're just random noises at this point. I don't even know what I'm doing really. But it starts with Valhazak, who is known for wearing the skin of his victims and sucking in flesh-eating bacteria. I have to view him as a very high-class monster as a result, after all, as he's doing the monster equivalent of wearing a fur coat and smoking a cigar. Then we have Dire Morales, and if this guy comes around, the situation is always dire. I don't get it. Mr. Morales is a fun-time magma boy who can change the color of the ocean, and any monster who has mastered the paint bucket tool is pretty good in my eyes. Then we have Shagaru Magala. Light is a cool element to mess with, and he is more or less in charge of a zombie army, so I had to give him a decent position because I just don't want to make him upset and have that army come after me. Then we have Velkhana, who is basically responsible for the entire Iceborne expansion, and therefore for introducing me to Coral Pookie Pookie, who is just the best thing in the world, and that means I have to respect her at least a decent amount. Also, ice is cool. Then we have Arashi Kirin. As opposed to regular Kirin, I have never actually seen an Arashi Kirin without the horn, so therefore it must be a real unicorn. That's great. Also, ice is cool. Then we have Duran Moran, who actually is a narwhal, a desert narwhal, which is basically just a chunky, funky unicorn, which is clearly better than a non-chunky, non-funky unicorn. He lives his life peacefully jumping through sand dunes, aside from when he's killing people. Then we have Lunastra, and, well, you know, I like pain. And Lunastra is a fantastic provider of pain. Also, blue is better than red. Fight me.
Bring it on.
Followed up, of course, by Sadeas. Whales are great. The bigger the whale, the better. He also has a massive beard, which is just one of the most unusual sea creature parts. Fish don't usually have hair, and that's for a good reason. Sadeas gives zero shits. Also, his theme is better than 99% of the songs that I've heard in my entire life. And then we have tier A, which of course stands for, and now we're back to not just having weird sounds as the meaning of these titles, which is really weird if you read the tier list from top to bottom, because it says that, and then there's just a bunch of weird sounds. But starting off tier A is Goldbeard Sadeas, who's basically just Sadeas, but made of gold, and I am partial to shiny things. Then we have White Fatalis. I was told if he doesn't wind up in the top 2 tiers, then Canada would be erased from the planet tomorrow, so this was an easy choice, as I live in Canada. Also, Canada's flag is the same color scheme as White Fatalis, just saying. Then we have Dalamadur, the biggest, snakiest boy there is, or at least the biggest, snakiest boy that I recognize in the Monster Hunter series, based off of Jormungandr, which is totally how you pronounce the name of the Norse mythological world-eating snake, and Norse mythology is cool. Then we have Shah Dalamadur, who is, you know, Dalamadur, but with more interesting colors. Then we have Valstrax, who, if they were created in a different order, I might actually think that Valstrax is the creation of an evil genius trying to model a robot after Shara Ishvalda, and then realizing halfway through that rocket fuel is an effective murder tool too.
It's not rocket science, you know?
Then we have Nakarkos, and of course, 2 heads are better than 1, but 3 heads are better than 2, and lasers are better than any heads. Then we have Blackveil Valhazak. Mushrooms are tasty, and he is more or less a mushroom dragon. His mushrooms are probably not tasty in particular, but I do still appreciate that he has mushrooms nonetheless. Then we have safi'jiiva, who is Xeno'jiiva, but with harder, less see-through skin, which really moves him up a few slots. Also crazy super move, but mostly just the harder skin. I like hard skin. Then starting off tier S, which of course stands for super cool elder dragons, is Chameleos. And honestly, I forgot that he was on the list until now. He's just sort of been sitting there quietly and invisibly in the corner. So he's made it to this point, and this is where he goes. You sly dog. Then we have Gogmazios, who of course has like 7 million weapons, but a bitch ain't one. Also, he's sticky. Sticky is a good thing. Then we have Lao Shen Lung, who is the prime example of an elder dragon, just literally factually the most elder dragon. He is very, very old and very, very dragon, so he has to be in tier S. There's no doubt about that. Then we have Ashen Lao Shen Lung, who is also very, very old and very, very dragon, but he looks slightly cooler to me. Then we have Yamasukami, who is, of course, a motherfucking balloon octopus. There's no other place to put a balloon octopus regardless of any other factor of their existence. Then we have Shara Ishvalda, who is a crazy fun rock golem that turns into a tree demon with crazy robot eyes that follow the camera. Did I have to say more about that one? And of course, we have Namiel, who is a water park and a minefield at the exact same time. Like, how much fun is that? You get to have the fun of a water park with the intenseness of a minefield. I really don't recommend that anyone mixes these two as an actual attraction in real life, though. And then finally, of course, the greatest elder dragon of all, me. I might be an elder dragon. I might not. You don't know. But if I was, I'd be the best one. Alright everyone, I've been Cotton Dinosaur, and this has been my 100% super serious Elder Dragon tier list. Do you agree with my choices?
I don't know.
If not, it doesn't matter, because they're factually correct. Like if you like the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet. This is the brand new outro to tell you all the things that you do that we love, so let's start with something simple and say, oh, we love your eyes. When they're watching us play video games, when we make a bunch of jokes that are kinda lame, or when they gaze upon our failures as we try to kill the monsters or important news about the Kingdom Animalia. Rage, Cotton, and Hollow are all here, talking about the things you want to hear, so if you want to be the first to hear, like and subscribe and the bell and we'll cheer. Some of you are patrons even though we are all the noobs and you're the pros. There's nothing we can do to thank you. No, really, there's nothing we could possibly do. Goodbye.